show your face. Show your face, please, with sugar on top.
All right, y'all. Now Stephen A. Smith, he went off on Joe Biden, for pardoning his son Hunter Biden. For y'all that's been living under a rock, basically, Joe Biden's son Hunter Biden, he was pretty much convicted. He was supposed to serve at least 17 years in jail for a slew of charges. And even though his father, Joe Biden, said that he wasn't going to step in and pardon him, you know, being that it was his son and no one is above the law, I guess he was like trying to make an example. He still went against his same very words and actually pardoned his son, right? And to be honest with you, I don't think enough people are outraged about this. I don't think enough people care. And it's sickening, but shout out to Stephen A. Smith, because a lot of times I don't agree with him on a lot of things, especially when it comes to sports. But I'm glad that someone is speaking out about this, because nobody else is, at least nobody with a big enough platform. And Stephen A. Smith is, and we're going to get into it. But before we do, I also want to give y'all a little tidbit of, you know, what everybody in Congress was saying, how Hunter Biden wasn't above the law. He's going to have to, you know, suffer the consequences of his actions, a whole bunch of stuff. And come to find out, he's not. Now, for y'all, let's put this in retrospect, right? He was being convicted on charges such as his taxes, not paying his taxes, doing business with foreign governments, and a whole bunch of stuff. Money laundering. It was a whole bunch of charges. And keep in mind, right, if you or me decide we're not going to pay taxes this year, guess what's going to happen? Either you're going to get things garnished from your paycheck or your house or whatever it is, depending on how much you owe, or you're going to jail. Simple as that, right? If you so much as don't pay a couple $100 in taxes, see what they do to you, right? Lo and behold, this man was facing 17 years and he got off because he was the president's son. Now, for y'all, like I said, that act like y'all don't care about things like this, just imagine if it was you. You know, if you was put in this position to where you was pretty much going to jail and you got pardoned, right? A lot of people are saying, well, of course, this is his son. That's what he's supposed to do. Cool. But it's also an example that it isn't fair, right? Constitutionally. It also shows that, listen, we can do whatever we want 9 times out of 10. Right? And we don't have to suffer the same consequences that you guys have to. You know, the regular citizens. Matter of fact, let's see what he was being charged with. This is according to justice.gov. It says Robert Hunter Biden pleaded guilty in federal court in Los Angeles this afternoon to all counts in a 9-count indictment, including 3 felony tax offenses and 6 misdemeanor tax offenses. Let you just so much as get one. Get so much as one of those and see what happened to you. It says, according to the indictment, Hunter Biden engaged in a 4-year scheme in which he chose not to pay at least $1.4 million in self-assessed federal taxes he owed for tax years 2016 through 2019 and to evade the assessment of taxes for tax year 2018 when he filed false returns. Sheesh. He subverted the payroll and tax withholding process of his own company by withdrawing millions outside of the payroll and tax withholding process. Spent millions of dollars on an extravagant lifestyle rather than paying his tax bills. In 2018, stopped paying his outstanding and overdue taxes for tax year 2015. Willfully failed to pay his 2016, 17, 18, and 19 taxes on time, despite having access to funds to pay some or all of these taxes. Meaning, he has the money, he just don't want to pay it. Simple. Willfully failed to file his 2017 and 18 tax returns on time. When he did finally file his 2018 returns, including false business deductions in order to reduce the very substantial tax liability he faced as of February 2020. At sentencing, Hunter Biden faced a maximum penalty of 17 years in prison. All right, so basically he dodged all that because his father came and saved him. Now, another thing that I'm realizing they didn't include in these charges, for y'all that don't know, this man was on camera doing drugs and by drugs, I can't say the actual drug, but crack. Allegedly, they had a laptop that showed that he was dealing with underage, allegedly. We're gonna say allegedly, right? But underage women. He been caught with a pistol while on probation. Yo, listen, this man just dodged a whole bunch of charges. Whereas if it was me and you, we'll be cooked. All right, let's just say that. So let's get into this video where they were saying that no one is above the law, and then get into what Stephen A. Smith had to say. Before we do all that, make sure you hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the algorithm. And if you're not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it.
No one is above the law.
Joe Biden has already proven he's willing to stand up for the rule of law and
that he does not plan to pardon or commute his son.
No one is above the law.
And that he has ruled out pardoning his own son.
And the contrast is so clear in terms of decency and principle.
Nobody is above the law.
I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
the contrast to how Trump has behaved, how Trump has treated the rule of law. This was a good day for the system.
Letting the world know that he will not wipe away the decision of 12 of his son's peers.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
The president has ruled out pardoning his son.
Major commitment from the president, accepting the outcome of the trial and also pledging not to pardon his son.
You ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
As current president of the United States has so much respect for the law that he has said he would not pardon his son. I mean, what?
Now here's a question, right? You hear what she said, so much respect for the law. So being that he did pardon him now, what does he have for the law now? Disrespect, right?
Yeah.
You know, again, it's all about the contrast.
This week, of course, Hunter Biden was found guilty, and Joe Biden has very clearly said he would not pardon his son, he would not commute
charges.
Right.
He is not doing that. He is not doing it because he is living what it means to have a rule of law in this country.
He would pardon his son. He has said no. On the other side,
everyone understands he's a decent man. You know, the president said he won't touch it. He said he's not going to pardon his son.
The president has said that he will not pardon his son.
Is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
ABC News Special Report.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis at ABC News headquarters here in New York. We're coming on the air this hour with breaking news. President Biden has just pardoned his son, Hunter.
Now, after just hearing almost 2 minutes of people involved in Congress and politics just say that Joe Biden is such a great man, a great president, he's decent, he's not going to sit there and pardon his son. You know, he holds the Constitution, he holds the law for everybody, and his son is not above it. Or for you to hear this part.
On gun and
Here with breaking news tonight, President Biden has made a decision to pardon his son Hunter.
President Biden will pardon his son Hunter Biden.
Hours after he announced the pardon of his son Hunter on tax and gun charges.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above.
All right. Now, here's my thing, right? I'm not pro anybody. I'm not pro Trump, not pro Biden, not pro this one, because to be honest with you, I think they all have their own motives, and it's just all the same at the end of the day, right? However, let me say this. If this was Trump, that's all I'm gonna say. If this was Trump, do you know how much of an outrage social media would be in right now? Do you know how much people, how much celebrities would have been coming out? How much out of nowhere lawyers and this person and everybody's so acting like they're into politics? They would come out the woodworks if you heard Trump pardon his son, cousin, and actually he did pardon. Here's another thing, right? Because I seen somebody brought this to our attention the other day via social media post. Yes, Trump did pardon somebody. I forgot who it was. It was somebody that's affiliated with his family. I forgot who it was. Don't quote me. For y'all that do know, put it in the comments. But here's my thing, right? Everybody always got a rebuttal. Well, Trump pardoned this one. Guess what? Trump never said he wasn't. Right? That's my thing. Biden said he wasn't. And guess what he did? Pardon his son. right? This is where it comes in when I always tell people it's not that, this one is bad or that one's bad. The problem with a lot of these political people, they come to you with smiles. They come to you, oh yes, everything's okay. And behind the scenes, it's really not. It's always the opposite being done of what they say they will or will not do. That's all, right? And for the people, like I said, that's in the comments, if it was my son, I'll do it too. I don't blame Joe Biden. That's the first thing everybody's saying. That's the problem. Everybody has selective outrage, right? And once again, yeah, you would do it, but you're not the president. And I can tell you right now, if your son, your daughter, your sister, your cousin, your uncle, your niece, anybody get caught doing any type of tax fraud or tax this and getting caught with a gun on probation or parole, guess what? They're cooked. So, it's different laws for us. But anyway, let's see what Stephen A. Smith had to say about all this.
You do understand that the Democrats are no longer in a position to say anything, right? You can talk till the cows come home. You whistling into the wind. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say right now. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your party. Because when you pardon your son, going back on your word, telling the American people there was no way that you were going to pardon him when everybody and their grandmama knew you were lying but didn't hold you accountable for it. And now you've confirmed what people believe, that you were probably going to be lying about that very thing that you said you wouldn't do for your son. All you had to do was say, he's my son.
Facts. That's the part right there that's the part that I'm talking about, right? Because we already knew he was going to do it anyway. I mean, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? If I had the power to pardon somebody that's a part of my family, to be honest with you, I mean, unless he done did some heinous acts, that's like, I ain't gonna lie, bro, you deserve to be in there, right? I would pardon my son, my whoever too. But the fact that he lied about it now is also like, what else did they lie about? What else do they lie about? Right? What else are these people lying about?
I can't let him go to jail. What's the matter with y'all? Do I gotta act like Dana Carvey from Saturday Night Live? And another thing, and by the way, is that what I gotta do? All you had to do was say, that's my son.
Yeah.
I'm not sending him to jail. I have the power to pardon him and to bring him home with me when I walk away from the White House, ending my political career. I'm taking my son home with me. Everybody would understand that.
Facts.
That wasn't good enough for you. It wasn't good enough for you. Instead, you had to try to come across like he was victimized because of you, like you're so innocent, like you're such a paragon of virtue. And as a result, now you've brought more skepticism in the direction of the Democratic Party. Why? Because you show you're no different than the other side, which you were accusing of everything.
Right? Right? The first thing they like to say, oh, the Republicans did this, the Republicans lied, the Republicans. And once again, I'm not pro neither side, because the Republicans do the same thing. Well, the Democrats are Democrats. But the problem is, everybody believes the Democrats for some reason. Everybody is like automatic Democrat. Some people don't even understand politics. You ask them, what are you? Well, I am Republican. You don't even understand politics to know what you are. But they just know that they're not a Republican because of what they see on TV, media, here on radio, and so forth. You know? But once again, this just goes to show, I think both sides, they all lie. Simple as that.
Y'all went after Donald Trump for everything but tying his shoelaces on the right way. You raked him through the coals. You threw him under the bus. You did everything to him. And I'm in no way trying to act like he's some innocent bystander in all of this. But when the word hypocrisy comes up, there's no escaping it. There's no escaping it.
There you go. Now, we got one more video. He did a interview with another platform, speaking on his views on Joe Biden pardoning his son Hunter Biden. Let's get into that.
What's your take on the pardon?
You know, the Biden situation disgusted me in terms of the pardoning only from this standpoint, Chris. Nobody on the planet, you want to be a cynic and you want to act like you would be offended by something like that if you're one of those people out there, fine. But no one within reason would have a problem with him saying, it's my son. I love him. There's no way I'm sending him to jail. And I have the power to avoid it. Nobody would blame him for that. But that's not where he went. So I didn't have a problem to answer your question directly with the decision that he made to pardon his son. Boo Boo the Fool knew he was going to do that. I don't care who he stood in front of or sat in front of and said that he wasn't going to pardon his son and he was just going to go by the letter of the law. Please, everybody and their grandmother knew he was going to pardon his son. But to come out and to start talking about how it's been a witch hunt and the Department of Justice and others were after him or whoever it was and, you know, the GOP rather was after him. Well, wait a minute. What have y'all been doing with Donald Trump all of these years? Now, you can make an argument about the legitimacy of the cases against Donald Trump compared to what wasn't legitimate, etc. That's not the point. The point is it was clearly politicized. You had folks on the left who were hell-bent on going after Donald Trump because they were determined to make sure that he couldn't run for re-election or that these elements would get in the way of him possibly winning re-election. And now we know why more than ever, because they weren't confident they would ever be able to beat him. He'd been a Republican nominee since 2016. He beat Hillary Clinton with the Electoral College vote. He wouldn't concede defeat in 2020, but he did receive over 74 million votes at that particular moment in time. And then you fast forward 4 years later, despite the 34 felony convictions, the 2 impeachments, the bevy of crimes that he had been accused of, the Republican voters out there, the conservative voters out there, and a lot of independents from various communities said, he's the guy we want, and I've said it on many, many occasions. It wasn't about him. Just like it wasn't about Biden in 2020, it was more against Trump. In this particular instance, it was an indictment against the Biden administration, what had been going on for the last 4 years. Some of the things going on with the border, obviously inflation, of course crime in the streets, of course woke and cancel culture and all of that, it all played a role. And so for him to come out and to talk about that this was a witch hunt when clearly it could be argued that's exactly what you were doing to Donald Trump, or you assisted in doing, seems beyond hypocritical. And that was what disgusted me. It wasn't his decision. It wasn't him pardoning his son. It was the weak, pathetic explanation that he gave, which has most critics just shaking their heads and raising their eyebrows and saying, what nerve you have.
Wow. So this is my first time actually watching that one. The last one I watched on social media, but this is the first time of me listening to him break that down. And to be honest with you, I like the fact that he wasn't biased. He's another one. I'm not pro-Trump because he got his bull crap with him too. But everybody seemed to be against Trump and down with the Biden and Kamala thing. That's cool. But do y'all not see what the man is doing? And it's a blatant, I'm talking about a blatant display of hypocrisy. Simple as that, right? And that breakdown right there, I liked it. That was excellent. But anyway, I'm not really going to get into, the political views because everybody got their own views. Everybody got their opinions. And I try to stay away from that. But anyway, man, y'all jump in the comments and let me know what y'all think about Stephen A. Smith and how he feels about Joe Biden pardoning his son, Hunter Biden. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm going to keep on dropping. I'm out.